707. You're live. What's your name? What's your comment? 707.
Tim, this is Gabe calling from Northern California. How you doing, brother?
Gabe, what's up, brother?
Been a minute. It's been a minute, man. Just out here working and doing my night shift tonight, man. Figured I'd give you a call while I got the time and spread some zest, I guess. But yeah, I just want to touch on a couple things, man. I want to touch on coalition building, and I wanted to touch on how we could actually make some things happen. Now, I'm from the Bay Area, and I'm part Mexican, and so a lot of my family are involved in different sides, different factions of being Mexican, I guess you could call it. You feel me? And so in our prison system, we have these things, or we used to have this shit where, and they still do forms of it, where it's called indeterminate shoe sentences. Just basically, you get locked down for months. You don't talk to nobody. Like, these are people who are locked down completely, you know, people's fathers, uncles, even grandfathers, been in these cells, unable to even talk to people years. And so this was all brought about mostly during crime bill reforms from Joe Biden. He made it possible to put gang injunctions on people through small things. Like in Northern California, a lot of us are farmers, so a lot of us, if you look it up, would more so associate with the Huelga bird and the United Farm Workers Movement and AFL-CIO, what they did back in the day with Cesar Chavez. You know, he went to jail here in Northern California in Salinas. Okay. Anyways, my point is this. In order to end that, all of the races and the groups, these different segments, okay, got together and they had mass hunger strikes. These hunger strikes, literally, it was across the entire state. These people make calls that go everywhere, you know, and so the entire state, all these people went hunger strike, shut it down, okay? That forced them to end indeterminate shoe sentences. Now, the people who actually filed the lawsuit to actually end this, okay, the people who actually brought this together were two members of the Aryan Brotherhood, okay? Two white supremacists help end indeterminate shoe sentences for everybody, okay? There's people that were locked up for 20 years that are now seeing their way back into main lines, able to be around other humans again, just in prison, just being around other humans. So what I'm getting at is this, all right? I am not advocating to go fucking buddy up with white power, guys. I'm not fucking with that. What I'm saying is this. When it comes to coalition building and when it comes to actually getting things done, alienating people is not the way to do this. The numbers are there. 76% of this country, supposedly, is white. Okay? A lot of this country is white as fuck. All right? Now, the only way we're going to get anything done is we're going to have to get some of those fucking whites on board. And we've got some. But the point is alienating the dumb ones up front doesn't help anything. And there are a shitload of dumbass people.
What do you mean by alienating?
You know?
What do you mean by alienating? Describe alienating.
Okay, so what I say is this. I think that there is I'd say everybody has their own prejudice. Okay, I would say your initial reaction to Lori Lightfoot and being like, yeah, she wasn't that bad. Like, I think that is your prejudice seeing through, being like, oh, they're coming down on a black woman. And yeah, sure. But you know Lori Lightfoot. Like, we don't need to get into Lori Lightfoot, okay? But you know what I'm saying here. You know Lori Lightfoot.
I never said that Lori Lightfoot is okay. I said Lori Lightfoot was right about the media.
I'm not saying that you're standing for Lori Lightfoot. Don't get angry.
You just said that.
Okay, I'm not attacking you at all.
You just said.
No, what I'm saying, that's not an attack though. What I'm saying is that you obviously looked through it initially and you said that.
That's not what I said. Like, okay, I never said. I'm correcting you because that's not what I said, Gabe. I never said Lori Lightfoot was okay.
Okay.
Or anything. I said she's right about one thing.
I never said you said she was okay. Okay.
Dude, I don't defend her because she's black. I don't give a shit about that.
When you initially reacted to it, I literally heard you speaking about this earlier. That's why I'm commenting on this now, as I've been listening.
That's not, but I never said that, though. You can't take me out of context. That's not what I said. But go ahead, man. But what do you mean? What do you mean? No,
if I took something out of...
Don't worry. Why use me as an example? All I'm saying, brother, don't use me as an example. I'm not trying to
fight with you here.
Dude, don't use me as an example. I said, what do you mean by alienating? What do you mean by alienating? Because I'm going to defend myself if you make a mistake.
You're mad at me, man. I'm just trying to talk to you, bro.
All right, man. All right, so this is my problem. This is my problem. We can't go back and forth because there's a delay. Here's my problem. When people sound like you, typically, what they're saying is they want black people not to say shit about black shit. You understand what I'm saying? Because black shit is divisive. So, yes, those white supremacists, they got behind that deal because that supported everyone, because they were suffering. Get what I'm saying? The problem is there are things that black people are suffering in this country that are specific to black people because of the history of black people in this country. There is very little that is specific to white people in this country that they're suffering because they are white people. There is no redlining for white people. There was no segregation for white people. There's no, 10% of the wealth for white people. There's a laundry list of things that have impacted. There's no white people needing reparations because they were slaves and Jim Crow and mass incarceration and Jane Crow and all the other shit we've been through. They don't have that. So this is my pushback. That's why I wanted you to explain to me what you mean by alienating. Because to some people, to the fucked up liberals, who I have a big problem with, their definition of alienating, once you dig through it all, once you get to the bottom of it all, the root of it all, and don't tell me not to get angry, okay? At the end of the day, the real thing is, they don't want me to talk about no black shit. They want me to be colorist and talk about only the stuff that the other white people feel, which is back. So you listen to my show. Did you listen to when I talked about critical race theory? You sound like you're using the talking points that critical race theorists use. We would all get along if the black people would just stop being black and stop talking about black people's shit. Now, I don't know what kind of Mexican you are, how you really identify or whatever on census, or I'm going to get into all that. But what I'm saying is, I'm black all day. I'm standing on it. These are the issues that we have. I'm not going to tone it down. I'm not going to rock with the Boogaloo Boys. If the Boogaloo Boys want to rock with me, they're going to rock with me on black issues. Show that you're going to rock with me on black issues. Because rocking with me on America issues is different than rocking with me on black issues. Even though black issues are American issues, white people tend not to, just like conservatives, they tend not to see black issues as American issues. That's the problem. It's not because I didn't treat you nice on this call. You said something about me treating Lori Lightfoot. I did not treat Lori Lightfoot in any special way. I did not dig into her ass about Chicago because she was talking about media, which I agree. There is a very much lopsided situation in media when it comes to black reporters. It just is. She's right about one thing. I didn't say support her and vote for her. I just didn't tear her ass up about another issue. In fact, you can do that with almost anybody. They bring out one thing, you can ignore that there's validity and point to a bunch of other shit they've done that's not good. But I double back and got her. So as long as we're clear, this is a problem. And this is not just for you, Gabe. This is for everybody. Don't call yourself an ally if all you want to do is shut black people up so you can get the numbers of more black people so they can pretend that what's going on with black people ain't going on with black people. And stop making it seem like what the remedies that we get will be some cause and effect of working with everyone else. At the end of the day, America's racist as fuck, and the idea is that we'll only get leftovers. We can only benefit if white people benefit first. Affirmative action. Who benefited most from affirmative action? White people. Why? Because white women are minorities too. They wrote that in there. Do you understand that? That keeps happening. And if we're ever going to stop being at the bottom of the bottom, we have to advocate for issues that impact us and be willing to stand up and say, hey, we need this taken care of. This is for black people. This is what we need. I don't hear you complaining about being divisive when the Asian Americans just got to act. And the Pacific Islanders just got an act. I didn't hear you going, that's divisive, they're alienating white people. No one said that. No one said that. Instead, they said, why are black people being more supportive of it? No one says that about the George Floyd Policing Act. No one says, why aren't more white people being more supportive of that? Why aren't more Asians being more supportive of that? Why aren't Pacific Islanders being more supportive of that? This is a learning moment. So don't tell me you called up here and they didn't mean to piss me off. Well, don't take me out of context. I'm sitting right here, dude. I got to respond to it because it's not true. And also, realize how you sound. And I hope I cleared that up for you. Not saying you're a bad person. A lot of people do this. In fact, the entire left does this. The entire left does what you're saying. Well, not the entire. A lot of people on the left do exactly what you're saying. That's why they don't cover George Floyd, dude. The biggest civil rights incident in the last 50 years. They didn't cover it. Why? Because it's considered divisive. I.e., not good for business. Because the majority of white people just didn't give enough a damn about it. And I'm not divisive for knowing it, for recognizing it. Water is wet. I'm not divisive because I know water is wet. Last job I had before I did this full time, okay? It wasn't that long ago because I was doing this part-time. I was working full-time and I was still doing this. This was back in, this is like 8 years ago. Something like that, okay? So there was a guy I had worked with for 5 years before that. His name was Joe. I thought Joe was Italian. Now, I was an administrator, a systems administrator, a land manager, and then when I got promoted to the last position I had was I oversaw all the technology for all the execs in the Department of Justice as a contractor, not a government contractor, but as a contractor, as a government contractor, not a HUD employee or government employee, but a contractor. I knew Joe for 5 years. He had his own business. He was a sharp dressing, smooth talking, cool guy, and we chop it up and we talk. And there'd be things I do for his clients who also worked on site at HUD. One of the last things I did, the last couple months I was there, is Joe got locked out of his account. And I never had to help him with his account before. When I went into his account to help him, I realized his name was Jose. Now, I know Joe for 5 years. I met his daughter. He told me about his daughter, his wife, everything. I know he got 5 years friends. We'd have lunch together. For 5 years, I didn't know that Joe's real name was Jose because he'd been passing the whole damn time. Everybody called this guy Joe. His name wasn't Joe. His mama named him Jose. And he did that. Why did he do that? Because he didn't want to alienate white people to him. He didn't want to alienate white people away from his paycheck. He didn't want to alienate white people away from having any obstacles that may trigger in their head that would mess up his business. I'm not saying he was a self-hating person or anything like that. But he did that. He did not want to alienate them. Now, I'm a black man. There is no reason for me to pretend. I can change my name if I want to, but when you see me, the game is up. I don't have the complexion for the protection from the collection. Mooney. So just keep that in mind, brother. We operate from two distinctively different paths. I'll rock with you, but you gotta rock with me. And then rocking with me is not rocking only on issues that only impact you. Because that's all that's been happening to black people. That keeps happening. It's gotta stop. All right, let's go. 707, you're live. What's your name? What's your comment, 707?
Tim, it's Gabe. I'm calling back, man.
All right, go ahead, brother.
Yeah, I know. I'm fucking ballsy motherfucker. I get it. Look, all I can say is this. I've definitely overspoken a lot of shit in terms of, if I said something that I mistook and that you said wasn't trying to mistake anything you said. All I'm trying to get at was this. I fucking glossed over this. I was just trying to get to this point. I'm not advocating for working with white supremacists, as I said before. Absolutely not. What I was trying to get at was that universality benefits the poorest piece of shit rednecks, and it benefits all of us in the city. You know, having healthcare, I tell you what, I live in a rural area now, and having healthcare out here is it's garbage, you know, and it was trash where I was from as well. And so I just think that in terms of getting policy things pushed and doing these things, I try to embrace people on a daily basis, you know, no matter where they're from and what their bullshit is. I just try to embrace people and get through the day and pull people into this. And it's worked really well. You know, I can say this, you know, there's more people that would support things like reparations, like Medicare for all than people may think. And I think being able to, you know, it's not anyone else's job but white people to deal with that. So again, I'm not advocating for that, but what I'm saying is reaching out, being like, hey, this is something that would benefit everybody immediately, and this is something we should do. And then allowing them to fucking just deal with it. And I think that's coming together. You see more and more politicians even running openly on reparations. Fortunately, you know, there's still room to go. It's part of the reason I don't think Bernie Sanders is enough, or the current progressive people, is because they don't support things like that. They don't openly call for it usually, you know?
Okay, Gabe.
So, yeah, anyways, all I was trying to get at was that universality would benefit all of us. And
all right, Gabe.
all that other shit wasn't true.
Not a problem, man. Thank you for the call back, Gabe. I hope you hope you took an opportunity to listen to the other callers who responded to your phone call as well. It wasn't just me who responded to it. I used to be that way. I used to think that as well. You can be nice and embrace people. That's fine. I embrace people all the time. Why do you think you're watching the most diverse? You know what? The reason why I have the most diverse show on the left is because I talk about black issues, which really means I got the most black people on the left. You know, except for maybe Roland Martin, but Roland Martin doesn't have any white people. Get what I'm saying? You understand what I'm saying? It's because I talk about black issues, so there are black people that'll watch this show. I'm not talking about the one-offs, the black guys that live in Berkeley.
90 seconds.
The one-offs. I'm talking about I got brothers from Alabama, brothers from Beaumont, Texas. I got brothers from Harlem. I got brothers and sisters all over this country from the inner cities, Johnson. You know what I'm saying? And then I have white folks in the Midwest and white folks from the mid-city and the city and white folks from suburbia. So I got, see, but you got to have the guts to be this.
60 seconds.
I hate this thing talking. So let me just say this and wrap it up, man. America's been talking about universal health care for a century or more. See, people don't know this. America's been talking about universal health care for a long time. You know why we really don't have it? Do you know why we really don't have universal health care? Because white people didn't want black people to get it too. That's why you don't have it. Brother, don't underestimate bigotry. What's the story, man? About
10 seconds.
What's the story about the frog and the snake? What's that story about the frog and the snake? The snake said, hey, can I ride on your back to cross the river or something? How'd it go? And he's like, no, man, you're gonna sting, you're gonna bite me. That's what you're gonna do. He's like, no, I'm not. I'm not gonna do that. If I do that, we're both gonna drown. He says, hey, you're right. Let's go. He gets to the middle of the river. What does the snake do? He bites him. The frog's like, why did you do that? We're both going to die. And the snake said, I'm a snake. It's my nature. Now replace the replace the snake with bigoted white person. And replace the frog with your good intentions or black people. That's why we don't have the shit you want, brother. It's not because I'm not nice enough. I won't just stop talking about cops. I won't stop talking about mass incarceration. I won't stop talking about women losing jobs because they wear their natural hair, Johnson. You live in a country where black women lose their job for wearing the hair that grows out of their fucking head, dude. And you're telling me I'm being divisive. Don't be divisive and they'll work with us more. Now, and you know what? And the other thing, you got to get money out of politics, man. That's the other thing, bro. Like, because don't get it twisted. There are a lot of black sellouts too. Put the money in the pocket, put it in the wallet, and move on over there. They want to live somewhere nice and do well. They ain't got time for this struggle. Life's too short. They just like, let me just get my money, man. This is you talking about, man, we shall overcome. Good. I'm going to go ahead and overcome this mortgage. So we need to get money out of politics because as long as money's in politics, we're going to have people willing to do certain things that work against all our interests. So we have bigotry. That's a big part of it. But never underestimate. And the biggest, for real, I think the biggest hurdle, I mean, race is bad as hell, but that money in politics, man. All that money in politics, that's the corruption, bro. All right, bro. Hell, we already want most Americans do want universal health care at this point. We have gotten better on that. I think we passed it where white people be like, why are these black people getting universal health care? They don't work hard enough to get it. They don't work. Why do they get to piggyback off the system? I'd rather have to barely afford mine than them to get it for free. There are people who actually believe that, Johnson. I'm not overestimating this. Think about it. Isn't that really what people are saying? When they see you see somebody with an independence card or food stamps or something, they're saying, even if they ain't barely been able to pay for theirs, the fact that you're getting some and they feel that you don't deserve it, they don't know why that person has an independence card. They have an independence card because they lost their husband in an accident or in war. And now it's just one single mom whose husband died in Afghanistan. They don't know, but all they see is a black woman with an independence card. And they put in their head means she don't work hard enough, she don't deserve it. I'd rather her not have nothing. Think about it. So, but remember, the money out of politics, man, that's huge. I mean, you sound like a young guy, so it's like, it's okay, man. Just listen, bro. Listen. That money out of politics is a big thing, man, because we got people betraying. We got black people betraying black people all the time because of money, bro. If you're on the bottom, if you feel like you're on the bottom and you are on the bottom, that's why you feel that way. And you like, hey, I got to take this opportunity. I can't turn it down. That's why if you watch my video about when I went to the Dr. Phil show, some of the black people applauded me because they know most people, given their situation, all they got to do is throw somebody under the bus and get their 5 minutes of fame, they would have took that shit. I don't have a cousin who can hook me up. I don't have a friend that works for the biggest independent news network in the world that I can go work there for a decade. I didn't grow up in the same town as David Pakman and known him for 10 years. You understand what I'm saying? I'm not some of the founders of TYT whose cousins work in Hollywood. Like real shit, dude. So anyway, there's a lot of moving pieces in this. Okay? That's all I'm saying. Money out of politics is a key component of it. It's not just race. It's add money and politics in it as well. Both of those things. All right, I'm going to go next call. 682, thank you for waiting. You're live. What's your name? What's your comment? 682.
That's me. What's up, Mr. Black?
Hey, who's this?
Just have a quick question. My name is Mark.
Okay, what's up, Mark?
Yeah, just had a question for you, man. When do you think black people ever get a win in this country?
Get a what? A win?
A win.
A win, like a win something. Okay.
Like when will you think we'll actually have a chance to look back and just say like, damn, they actually did this for us, you know?
Oh.
Like I look back at the civil rights and I kind of realized that we were kind of not an afterthought, but it was never exclusively for us, if you get what I'm saying. Like when will they actually take care of the wrongs they actually committed? What do you think, if ever?
Wow, Mark, man. Give it up for Mark with the important phone call, man. The hardest question of the night came from Mark, man. Damn, Mark. I have no idea, sir, and I'm not going to lie to you and tell you I do. I'm not going to lie to you. I have no idea when that's going to happen. I know one thing. It's never going to happen if black people are so afraid to make a demand because they're going to be seen as being divisive or upsetting the apple cart or some other excuse or whatever to be fashionably or politically correct or basically not to piss off white people so they're not screaming and hollering like that white lady was when we brought up critical race theory. I don't know if you saw that clip. But as long as white people react like this.
Just because I do not want critical race theory taught to my children in school does not mean that I'm a racist, damn it.
See, she's the victim here. To her, she's oppressed. White women are the most powerful people in this country next to white men. And does that sound like a powerful person? No, she's oppressed because her daughter or her son might find out that presidents of the United States also own slaves. Not that she does, but once upon a time that happened in the U.S. And that's just too much for her to bear. That's too much. Can't deal with it. So you ask, when will we get a win? When will we get a fair shake? When will they go back and right their wrongs? I don't know if that's ever going to happen, but I'm never going to stop fighting for it to happen. And just because something, I may not see it happen, doesn't mean it's not the right thing to fight for. Look, I may not live long enough for my daughter to get married. Or I may not live long enough for my son to get married and raise his kids. I don't know. But I'm going to fight for that. You understand what I'm saying? Too many of us live in the here and now, and all they're concerned about is the here and now for themselves. So, brother, I don't know if we're ever going to get that type of a win. But let's fight for it anyway. Let's see what happens.